segment 2. How do you boil down a fear when you might not know what's actually causing it?
hmm How do I boil down a fear when I actually don't know what's causing it? Is
Yes.
that is that it? Um, you know, sometimes it doesn't matter. Sometimes if I just get my thinking off this negative thinking, that will work. Um, one time I was really, really despondent, right? And I was extremely despondent. But there was something I had to do. I had to lay some flooring in our kitchen because the tile person, the floor layer, was coming in that afternoon, and I needed to get this subfloor in. So I'm hammering in nails, and I hit my thumb with the hammer, right? And it hurt like crazy. So I stopped working. I went to Starbucks, got a coffee, and I got I ate a tuna sandwich, and my finger was still hurting. I forgot completely about being despondent. That shock, that just the change in my focus completely relieved the stress, what I was into. So sometimes I can do just about anything to get to, sometimes it doesn't matter in the least what I'm stressed about, because 90% of the time it's my imagination. 90% of the time it's not going to materialize. So I
Very
think,
true. Yep.
yeah. Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah, I can relate. This is like the fear of the boogeyman, the unknown. You never know what the outcome's gonna be. That itself is fearful, not knowing what's gonna be an outcome of any situation as well.
Sure.
No?
hmm hmm
So that's interesting for me. If I know, I can identify. Sometimes it's very difficult when I'm trying to boil down a fear because I might just feel this is the particular entity that's causing fear in my life, or it might not even be that. It might have been something completely opposite. So whenever I'm doing any type of writing on my fears, it takes me some patience, a little more balance when I'm looking at my sheet to boil down why am I really having this fear? Oh, you know what? I'm actually fearful of this particular group because,
Sure.
or this style of people because growing up, I always got made fun of. Just the example, right?
Sure.
And then when I have some type of identity of why I'm having a certain fear, it helps me work into the opposite. So now I could identify why I'm having this fear, and now I could go ahead and start transitioning into how I'm gonna go ahead and deal with this fear, incorporating
hmm
myself into this group without having to feel a certain way,
Right.
you know?
hmm
And there's
You,
many,
go
and
ahead. I'm sorry.
yeah, I think there's many different avenues to go about dealing with that fear once it's identified. But for me, it was a relief itself, knowing why am I scared, of a
Yeah.
particular thing, where it might not ever even occur. Maybe that group of people will never make fun of me, if I incorporate myself as an adult into that group. They might just go ahead and appreciate my existence, make me feel welcome, show me love,
Yeah.
attention, affection. So that imaginative state of fear tracks back to my childhood, subconsciously thinking that, hey, I'm in danger, that these people are gonna harm me in some way. So I think it goes back to, I think you spoke about this too a few times in the past, is rearranging my neural net, sprinkling that thought with some positivity, not only incorporating myself into that fear, but also trying to change my thought process and perspective towards that group. Just as another example that, hey, actually, they're here to help me. showing me affection, and try to slowly rearrange my neural net over periods of time across the spectrum, dealing with different styles of fears as well, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know, there's all kinds of little tricks I've learned and so forth to help me with fear. I still get fearful. You know, every day something comes up, I get fearful. Normally because I'm thinking too much about me. But I know once I was taking scuba diving lessons to be certified for scuba diving and so forth. And the instructor knew that people was fearful of seaweed, getting caught in seaweed.
Mm-hmm.
So towards the end of the course, we did what you call a beach dive. It's where you go to the beach and you go into the ocean with your scuba gear on and you go swim out. The first thing he had us do was to get into some seaweed. So we could realize the seaweed's not out to get us. All we got to do is know how to handle the seaweed. So that was, I think you said earlier, about facing our fears, about getting into it. Because most of the time, once we start doing something, the fear goes away.
Yeah. Being exposed to the element, I think, reduces the harm, you know?
Yeah.
Start to get a little comfortable with the situation, you know?
Yeah.
So,
And okay, one more little thing too. Another trick that you talk about it earlier too. If we really want to get out of fear, we get into gratitude. And not just gratitude, but showing appreciation. Because I'm grateful for you, Sean. You're a good person. You know, you've added a lot to my life. But that's self-serving. But if I don't show appreciation to you, you say, once I show appreciation, then that gratitude is manifested. And then I get more rewards. You know what I mean?